The mind. How interesting it is to learn about the mind. The mind? It is amazing to know that the summary of a man's life is tied to the development in his mind. All that a man would be on earth is a reflection of all that he has yielded his mind to becoming. So, a lack of development in the mind is going to reflect in the quality of life that a man has. A lack of development in the mind as regards your finances, as regards your relationships, as regards your health, as regards your worldview would impact greatly upon the results you would get. The mind. Welcome again to PV Masons, and today we're concluding our study on the mind. Again, you must know this story, or possibly at one point or the other, I've heard the story of a young man or two young men, one named Jacob, the other named Esau. Esau was known for being a man of a field, meaning that Esau was used to going out there, catching venisons, while his brother was a guy who was used to staying in the kitchen with his mother. Loved by his mother, Esau loved by his father. So Esau knew that anytime he goes out there, he's always going to get something. Jacob, on his own, knew that as long as he's home, his belly is going to be filled. And so he doesn't have anything far away. All that he does, all his investment is close to the house. But Esau has to go outside. Now, a lot of things happened about their story that I don't want to talk about, but I just want to center on one. Their father, Isaac, was about leaving and demanded to bless them. Demanded to bless Esau, being the eldest, and asked him to come get some venison for him. And now Esau went out to get one. However, Jacob disguised and took the blessing. Now, that's not the story. The story is this. I'm sure that every time that Esau went out, Esau always got venison. But one of the major things that Esau did not train his heart to do was to see that there was going to be a raining day, was to see that there was going to be a dry season. And that is exactly one thing that happens in the mind of many people. They do not prepare for the raining day. They do not prepare for the dry season. There are periods that happens, or there are situations or phases in our lives that does not give us the opportunity to react. So what makes us react effectively is our preparation before those instances. What am I saying? Esau had always gotten used to going out to get venison, preparing a meal for his father. And, the day he needed to get a blessing, he had to go out too. A flip side of the story is that Esau possibly had a backup plan, had a savings, had an investment not too far from the house. When the father demanded for a blessing, he could easily just go there and pick one, and make something for him. But no, that was not Esau. Esau was used to labor. And many people are like that. The mindset is that, don't worry, the God who did yesterday will do today. As good as that statement is, it is also a reflection of the lack of planning. It's also a reflection of the measure of mediocrity that has been embraced. Hard work is good. However, what will help a person rest when there's no strength to work is what they did when they had strength to work. So when you have physical strength to work, also have strength in your mind to preserve your work. How do you develop strength in your mind to preserve the work? One way to do that is to build a structure. Build a structure. Train your mind. As much as you've trained your mind to see abundance, abundance will come, abundance will exist. However, I'm going to advise, train your mind to prepare. Set aside certain measure of income, certain measure of finance to cater for certain things. Do not have your mind posture at the fact that you want to get this and every time you go out there, you would always get it. What happens when you go out and business did not respond the way it did last week? What happens when you go out there and your investment did not yield the increase it yielded last year? Would you still be able to survive? Let your mind prepare for the rainy days. One of the wisest men that lived on earth, Solomon, he said to us, he said we should go to the ant to learn our ways and be wise. Why did he say we should go to the ant to learn our ways? One of the major things he called our attention to was the fact that an ant or ants, prepare way ahead. They prepare way ahead for things to happen. So you are not brilliant until you have embraced feeling tomorrow's pulse today. That must be entrenched in your mind. Okay, the fact that you are soaring high does not indicate that you are brilliant. One of the experiences or exposures or one of the things that gives one of the cues, that's a word, one of the cues to the fact that you're brilliant is that you've trained your mind to prepare. Prepare for the best, prepare for the worst, prepare for abundance, prepare for the day of lack, such that when lack comes, it doesn't look like it. So in our building, in our scattering resource, in our investments, in our stretching our minds, we must also still prepare a structure for preservation of resource, preservation of days to come. Everyone must, as a rule, write things down, jot things down, and trust the Lord to help you to run with those things. There are a lot of things that are bringing alternate opinion to us, alternate perception to us, which fights the very nature that we stand for. In the face of all these things, we must stand our ground and say that only that which we want would happen. And one way to say that and speak so boldly and confidently is that you're planned ahead. Is it good to pray? Yes, it is good to pray. Is it good to work? Yes, it is good to work. However, as good as it is to work, it is also good to have a mind posture that plans. I was in a class a couple of years ago, and one of our mentors then, one of the things that he taught us was that there are two categories of people in this world. Let's even put them to three. It's a number one category of people are those who work with their head. Number two category of people are those who work with their hands. And the last category of people are those who eat, consumers. Now, those who just eat and consume, they are at the mercy of those who work with their head. They're at the mercy of those who work with their hands. However, if you want to go by hierarchy, you would place the one who works with his head way above the one who works with his hand. Actually, the ones who work with their hands, they work for those who work with their head. One of those classic examples is to look out for a bodyguard and look out for the person he's guarding. And when you look out for the bodyguard and the one who is guarding, you discover that the bodyguard is naturally bigger than the one who is guarding. He's preserving an asset, and the asset is not in the ability to work with your hands, it's in the ability to work with your head, your mind. And so, naturally, those who work with their head employ those who work with their hands. Now, I'm not saying literally that those who work with their head don't use their hands. I'm saying that their head, that is their mind, their heart, is much more put into work than their hands. The labor is much more intellectual than mechanical, than physical. It's much more intellectual. And the world today revolves around ideas, revolve around the soundness of your mind. It is only a man whose mind is sound and sane that can produce sound and sane results. The fact that you're working, even that wisest man that I quoted earlier on, he said he has looked under the sun. He said the race is not to the swift, the battle is not for the strong. It's a time and chance happening to them all. But in the time and chance that happens to them all, you still see, and even in the God who shows mercy, you still see a posture of the mind being renewed, a posture of the mind, positioned to getting the best of results. What am I saying today? As a round of this episode, I'm saying to you, challenge your mind, stretch yourself, do all that you need to do, pray as you can pray, work as you can work, but in all you're doing, in all you're getting, get understanding. And the understanding is not in the works of your hands. The understanding is a posture of your mind that you must have that now reflects in the works of your hand. Plan for the days ahead. As much as it's good to give, plan for supply, plan for abundance, plan for lack, plan for not enough. Again, you are brilliant, not just because you score high grades. You are brilliant because there's a mind posture that you have that prepares you for tomorrow. God bless you. I know you've been blessed, and I look forward to hearing from you. Send me a mail, pvmusings@gmail.com. God has blessed you. See you next week.